Welcome back, everyone. In this video, we are going to tackle learning how to write Sass rather than CSS. Sass is really just a much more efficient way of writing CSS, and let me break down how it works. So first, we need to actually load in the ability for our application to consume Sass files. In order to do that, we need to go back to our application inside of our terminal, and we're just going to run yarn add Sass. Luckily for us, Create React App, by default, when you include the Sass library, will set your application in such a way that it will be able to render Sass styling. We're going to break down much later how you can do that yourself with Webpack, because it's really what it's done, is that it's set up these configurations within the underlying Webpack so that you can actually leverage Sass files inside of your application. So now that we have it fully installed, we are going to go back to our application. And now what I can do is I can make a new file. So for now, I'm just going to call it, let's actually call it categories.styles.scss. So SCSS is the Sass file type. Once you have this in, what is Sass versus regular CSS? So in order for this to work, let's look at an example. Here we have a div, and this class name is categories container. If I had styling for categories container, here, let's say, for example, I wanted to make the background color red. If I wanted now to target specifically the category container inside of categories container, the way that I would do that in regular CSS is I would say, first, give me the categories container class element. Then go in and target the category container. And then inside of there, I could do something where I set the background color to green. This way, now, I'm essentially saying, hey, I have styling for categories container, and anything nested within, I want you to target it, knowing that my CSS essentially is going to target it like so. Go into categories container and then get the category container and then apply the styling. If we went even another step in and tried to target the category body container within this, I would have to go even further. Categories container, category container, and then category body container. And here I would do a background color of blue, let's say. So just to show you, let's just actually import in this styling file that we just made, categories styles.scss. If we save this, and now we go back to our application, we see our styling. It might be actually a little bit difficult because we don't have enough, I guess, like padding so that we can see it. So let's just make this more clear. Let's do padding like this. Let's just add a padding value so that we can see everything that we've just written. So if we save this, we go back. There. We see that the red on the outside is the container. We see the green on the inside is the inside target. And then, of course, this body container is the blue. So this is how you would normally write your CSS. Sass, however, makes this much easier. Instead of writing all this nesting, unduplicated styling like this, it actually allows you to directly nest these values within the inferred parent. So here, categories container, I can just write my category container code like this. So category container knows, oh, I'm nested inside categories container. You want to target category container within this specific parent's class. So only give me the styling if this class is literally a child of this class, which is what the previous code we had written was doing. Similarly, if you want the same thing here, you would move this inside of here. So now it knows that only apply the styling to this category body container if this is a child of category container, and if category container is also a child of categories container. So now if I save this, again, we refresh, we see our code still works. Everything here still works. This is really the great advantage of Sass. It makes our CSS code much more legible and a lot easier to write. It's way more intuitive when you're reading it, and it's really self-contained. And Sass is pretty much the format of CSS that we're going to write for the rest of the course. So now that you have your Sass and you understand the differences between Sass and CSS, unfortunately, again, this is not a CSS heavy course. So we are really just going to import in all of our CSS that I have pre-written for you, or all of the Sass, I should say. So inside of your resources folder, I want you to copy the Sass code in the Sass file and paste it in here. So do that now. So once you've pasted it all in, I'm just going to quickly go over the structure. I'm not going to really go over a lot of the CSS itself because there's a lot of CSS, and going through all of the different variations is really going to take up way too much time, and we really want to focus on the React, not necessarily the CSS. But primarily the main thing I want you to notice is that I did not nest the category container class within the categories container. The reason for this is because we know that the category container is going to be its own component. Typically, when we saw this with our monsters Rolodex, if we're mapping through this, we're most likely going to use this as its own component. One quick thing that we didn't do that we want to make sure we do is leverage the ID and append that onto this as the key, because as we remember, whenever we map through things, we want to use the ID. So that's just one quick thing. But other than that, all of our Sass code is now in. So let's just save this and let's go back to our application and let's refresh. We should see this warning go away, which we do. But here we now see this looks much closer to what we have in our final product. So now that we have this different styling, what we want to do next is we want to actually append the background image. So let's do that in the next video.